2018 Lewis Hamilton is widely considered one of the best versions of Lewis Hamilton ever seen in his career, and today I'm going to be checking whether he was really as good as people talk about him or if he was just hyped too much. So to do this, I'm going to review all the races in that season and then at the end give my own remarks on the question. But first, you should probably check if you have liked and subscribed. If you want, then you can do so as you wish. Alright then, let's start. The season starts off in Australia, where Lewis Hamilton in qualifying produces one of the best laps he has ever produced in his career, by far in my opinion, where he went almost 9 tenths faster than his first lap in Q3 and got pole position by more than 6 tenths. That's just crazy. In the main race, Hamilton got off to a good start and was able to maintain the lead for many laps until an incident occurred on track and a virtual safety car was brought out. And since Hamilton had pitted before the virtual safety car and Vettel pitted under the VSC, it allowed Vettel to get ahead of Hamilton. And since Hamilton had some PU issues, he wasn't able to attack properly. This allowed Vettel to fuck off and win by 6 seconds, and allowing him to then take the lead of the championship in the first race. Even though he did not win on pure pace due to some technical issues with Hamilton's car, it still brought some worry to Hamilton, showing that Ferrari were not only on par with Mercedes but sometimes even faster than them, and this was properly shown in the next race. In qualifying, Hamilton did not improve on his second run, which then allowed Vettel to take advantage of this and then set a time of 1:27.9, which allowed him to get not only get pole position but allowed Ferrari to get a 1-2 finish in qualifying, which confirmed Mercedes' worry that Ferrari were faster than Mercedes on many occasions. This was even worse for Hamilton, considering that he had a 5-place grid penalty for the PU issues he had in Australia, which meant that he was starting 9th while Vettel was starting on pole position. In the main race, Hamilton got off to a pretty bad start considering he did not make any places and started to fight with Verstappen, and after his shenanigans with Verstappen ended, he started to make overtakes in the grid, such as this beautiful triple overtake, and he was able to recover to third, but Sebastian Vettel won the race, and this allowed him to extend his lead in the championship gap and defined himself as the championship rival of Hamilton that year. China was all around a tough weekend for Hamilton, considering he qualified 4th while being almost 6 tenths away from Sebastian Vettel, who qualified first, and Ferrari again got a 1-2 start in quali, which shows they are faster than the Mercedes. And the race was a complete different result than this. In the race, Sebastian Vettel got off to a good start and was good in the lead, while Hamilton was trying to fight Raikkonen to try and get into third, but he wasn't able to. It's all started to change when the Red Bull started to pick up some pace and were now looking like the fastest car on track, and they started making overtakes left, right and center. Both the Red Bulls overtook Hamilton and Ricciardo was able to get past Vettel, but Verstappen in doing so crashed into Vettel and they both spun, allowing Hamilton to get ahead, but I believe this gave Vettel damage because due to this, Vettel got very slow. He got overtaken by Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso in that shit McLaren of that season. Hamilton was able to finish 4th where he started, but Vettel finished 8th while starting on pole. That's just terrible for him. While Ricciardo won, that was good for him. And this not only was a bad result for Vettel, but also gave the championship lead to Hamilton, who was now ahead in the championship by 4 points. Azerbaijan was almost the same with in qualifying, Vettel getting pole position while Hamilton having to play second fiddle to him. But the race again was a different result than what occurred in qualifying. Nothing much happened in the race, with the main story being the Red Bulls fighting each other almost every single lap, and that reached its climax on lap 40, where Ricciardo, being unable to overtake him and locking up, crashed into Verstappen, earning them a double DNF, and this brought out a safety car. And when that safety car ended, Sebastian Vettel, trying to fight Bottas, was then under pressure for Hamilton from behind. This caused him to send a very stupid overtake down the inside of Bottas, which caused him to have a big lockup, go wide, and this dropped him to fourth. Sadly, Bottas, having a good race, went over some debris that was left on track and not swept away by the marshals, and this gave him a puncture with no fault of his own, and he had to retire from the race. This gave Hamilton the win, and Vettel still finished fourth because Perez overtook him, and now Hamilton was able to extend his lead in the championship by way more. In Spain, the qualifying finally went in the way of Mercedes because Mercedes got a 1-2 finish while Hamilton got pole position and Vettel was in third place. The race was pretty straightforward considering Hamilton got off to a good start and was able to maintain the lead, and this simply allowed him to fuck off because there was no challenge from behind. Nobody was able to challenge him, and he won the race comfortably by 20 seconds while Vettel finished fourth, and Hamilton was able to again extend his lead massively in the championship while Vettel was just now dropping back. Monaco is another one which was pretty straightforward for both Hamilton and Vettel, considering Vettel qualified second and Hamilton qualified third with Ricciardo in first, and the top three finished the same way they started. There were some technical problems for Daniel Ricciardo considering he had a loss of power. Still, he was able to manage that and get a race win. Canada finally went well for Vettel considering the run he had in a couple of the previous races, within qualifying him getting another pole position while Hamilton was fourth. After getting a good start in the race, Vettel was able to maintain the lead while Hamilton had some of complications of his own because Mercedes had pitted him early, and when Ricciardo, who was his closest competitor to him, pitted, he had overcut Hamilton and found himself ahead of Hamilton, and Hamilton not being able to challenge him, it allowed Vettel to win while Hamilton finished a place down where he started, and this race was so good for Sebastian Vettel that he again took back the lead in the championship by 1 point. In qualifying at the French Grand Prix, Hamilton got pole position with Mercedes getting another 1-2 starting while Sebastian Vettel started third. In the race, the first lap was a very chaotic one with Sebastian Vettel getting a good start and slipstreaming Hamilton, but when at the first corner at the braking, Bottas outbroke himself and Sebastian Vettel went straight into Bottas, causing Bottas to spin and Sebastian going wide and Max also going wide. I don't know if it's Max, the Red Bull going wide, and Hamilton just maintaining calm, and he maintained the lead while this caused Sebastian Vettel to drop down to 15th place, and while Hamilton was able to maintain the lead all the way till the checkered flag, Vettel was able to recover to 5th place. But now again Vettel lost the lead of the championship and he gave the lead to Hamilton again. In qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix, Hamilton just missed out on pole with him being 19 thousandths away from Bottas, while Vettel started in third place. After getting a very good start in the race, Hamilton was able to take the lead of the race in the first lap, and even though later on he was re-overtaken, it got much worse for him considering first his teammate had to retire, and then on lap 64 Hamilton had to retire due to some issues with his car, and this gave a wide opportunity to Sebastian Vettel to take the lead of the championship. And even though he did not win, he still got third place and again took the lead of the championship from Hamilton, while Max Verstappen won the race. In qualifying for the British Grand Prix, I believe this is again one of the best laps Hamilton has produced in qualifying, and also one of the best qualifyings of the seasons, considering Hamilton and Vettel were not only trading provisional poles but trading track lap records, and that's crazy. And in the end, Hamilton came out on top, while Vettel was only 44 thousandths behind him, while Kimi Raikkonen in third was less than a tenth behind Hamilton, and this was setting up to be a very good race. The race start again was hectic, with all the top three getting a good start, but at the third corner, the first braking point, Kimi Raikkonen tried to send an overtake and touched Hamilton's wheel, and this caused Hamilton to not only spin but then go dead last, while Vettel was able to take the lead of the race and maintain it for many laps. And with now Hamilton being dead last, the only place he could go was up, so now he started making overtakes, and by lap 11 he was back up to 6th place. But in the end, Vettel still won, with Hamilton having a great recovery to 2nd place and reducing Vettel's win advantage. Okay, so now considering we are almost at the half point of the season, I believe with Vettel in the lead, I believe Vettel has looked better than Hamilton in qualifying, considering the Ferrari was a faster car, but Hamilton has looked more, you could say, more consistent in race pace, with Vettel still looking a bit more of a complete and a better driver till the half point of the season in the first half, but it was a complete different story in the second half. I believe Germany was the point where the championship turned completely upside down, because in qualifying in Q1, Hamilton ran over some curbs and that gave him some damage under his car, and this meant he had to stop his car on track, and this meant he was out in Q2. He qualified 14th, while Vettel set one of his best laps and got pole position. And this was very bad for Hamilton, considering Vettel still in the lead of the championships by, I believe, 8 points, and Hamilton qualifying 14th. This gave an open pathway for Vettel to extend his lead in the championship massively. Hamilton knew what he had to do, and after getting a decent start, he started making up positions, while Vettel was able to maintain his lead. And up till lap 39, Hamilton was able to recover to third, but this wasn't good considering he hadn't pitted, while Vettel, who had pitted, who was about 5 seconds ahead, had already pitted. And with Ferrari switching up their cars, Vettel now had the lead of the race and allowed him to extend his gap to Hamilton. And after Hamilton pitted, there were some reports of rain, and this made the track wet, obviously. And on lap 51, I believe, Sebastian Vettel lost the car and sent it into the barriers, and this meant he had to retire from the race, which was very bad for him. Horrible timing for him at the point in the championship. And with the two drivers of Bottas and Raikkonen ahead of Hamilton having pitted, Hamilton now took the lead of the race, and with Bottas in second, Mercedes told Bottas to not send an overtake, and Lewis Hamilton on a dry track won the Grand Prix from 14th position, and this now meant that he again took the lead of the championship. And I believe from now on he did not even look back, because he was so consistent from now on. That's why I said it completely turned the championship upside down. Hamilton, now taking advantage of Vettel's mistake in Germany, set the fastest lap in Q3 in Hungary, and Mercedes got another one to finish. And the race was straightforward again, with Hamilton winning the race and almost being 18 seconds ahead of Vettel, who finished second. And now he extends his lead to Vettel again by 7 points now. Belgium was a weekend that gave some hope back to Vettel, considering even though he qualified second compared to Hamilton, who was on pole position, after the shenanigans on the first corner, Vettel sent an overtake on Hamilton and was able to overtake him at the end of the Kemmel Straight, and this meant that he was able to maintain the lead till the end of the race, where he won the race by 11 seconds. But in the next 4 races, this hope of Ferrari was completely shattered by Hamilton. The next 4 races being of Italy, Singapore, Russia and Japan, Hamilton won all 4 of them in succession and also got poles in 2 of the races, being Singapore and Japan. And I have to separately talk about the Singapore lap, because his Singapore qualifying pole lap was probably one of the best laps ever seen in Formula 1 history, and probably his best lap in Formula 1 history. And he also made some beautiful overtakes, such as this one on Kimi Raikkonen at the Italian Grand Prix, where he eventually went on to win the race. After getting a pole position and a podium in USA, Formula 1 finally reached Mexico, where Hamilton, even though did not finish on the podium, he finished 4th. It was all that he needed to be crowned the 2018 Formula 1 champion and become a 5-time Formula 1 champion. And in Hamilton's fashion, he finished off the season by not only getting pole position in the last 2 races, but also winning the last 2 races and finishing off the season with 11 pole positions, 17 podiums and 11 wins out of that incredible 21 race season of 2018. So to finish off this long ass fucking video, I'll give my final marks that 2018 Lewis Hamilton was probably the best version of Lewis Hamilton ever seen, considering he was up against a 4-time world champion in Sebastian Vettel, who was in a faster Ferrari, where Hamilton not only persevered through this, but also produced one of the best races and qualifying laps ever seen in Formula 1 history. If you have made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it, considering how long it took me to make this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.